光と闇相入れぬ我らとて一時矛を収めることができる。
What's going on, guys? Stevie here with Lucky Crit. So I know this channel has been focusing a bit too heavily on leaks lately, but I recently got sent a new leak that appears to be a full rundown of the upcoming Nintendo Direct, and it does actually seem pretty plausible, so I figured it was worth mentioning and discussing with you guys. Before I get into this video, I just want to put out a warning that while these leaks are unconfirmed as of the time that I'm filming this, there is always the potential that if they are real, they will spoil the upcoming Nintendo Direct for you, so if you don't even want the potential of being spoiled about it at all, should this be proven true, you can come back later and check out this video then. And these leaks are also from 4chan, and as we all know, there are a lot of LARPers on 4chan that do like to pretend to be insiders and roleplay and end up delivering fake information. So as always, take it with a grain of salt. Gamexplain also covered another potential leak that was pretty quickly debunked, but it featured Lyn and some other characters, and as this commenter so eloquently states, the European game box has already gone live and it has none of these characters on it. The Lyn sprite is from DeviantArt, and the Celica sprite is obviously an altered sprite, not even her official Echo sprite, which they would have been likely to use. So while what we're about to discuss could potentially be fake as well, just keep in mind that it could go either way. So this leak seems to reveal the entire information of the upcoming Nintendo Direct. Now of course, the part that we're going to be focusing on in this video is going to be the Fire Emblem Warriors part, and there are some other games here that I don't know too much about. Perhaps there's a clue hidden in here somewhere that potentially it's fake or, you know, someone's pulling it out of thin air. But I don't know enough about Breath of the Wild and its past and upcoming DLC to determine if it's more or less plausible because of that. But the rest of this information, as far as I can tell, seems pretty solid. So we're just going to focus on Fire Emblem Warriors and consider if this is plausible at all. So for Fire Emblem Warriors, this leak is claiming that Jagen, Caeda, Merric, Minerva, and Tiki are going to be introduced as playable characters, with some new info on gameplay elements like Casual, Classic, and Lunatic mode. Now we already knew that Casual and Classic were going to be in the game due to previous information that we had before, but Lunatic mode is new, and that does also make sense. There are some really hard difficulties in some of the Warriors games, so that's not too surprising. Info on amiibo compatibility is given, with every Fire Emblem amiibo giving you bonuses and in-game items corresponding to their character. Now this actually would make sense, because it does seem like we're not going to be able to unlock these specific characters from the amiibos. So for example, you know, if I scan an Ike amiibo, I don't think that we're going to be seeing Ike, you know, just as a free gift from scanning your amiibo. So it would make a lot more sense from just getting, you know, bonus items and stuff from these characters. And we do know that there is an equipable item system and things like that, so that actually seems about right too. A season pass is announced for early 2018, with Anna being released as a free DLC character later this year, and 3 main DLC packs being Path of Radiance / Radiant Dawn, Shadows of Valentia, and Binding Blade / Blazing Blade. Now, we do know that Nintendo has been a lot more open about DLC within the past couple of years. A lot of their bigger IPs are receiving more and more DLC as time goes on, and I do think that it's very likely that we will see DLC with Warriors, whether or not this leak is true. However, with Anna being released as a free DLC character, that could be true. It does seem a little bit weird because we do have her voicing over a lot of moments within the game. She does seem like more of an NPC character. But perhaps that works a little bit better with her being a DLC character, because then she can just kind of be an extra character added into the game after that. It would make a lot less sense if she was in the initial roster, but then also a voiceover voice, so I can give them that. As far as the DLC packs, I do think that it is pretty likely that we would see, you know, packs similar to these if we saw multiple DLC packs at all. I think it is pretty clear that they should know at this point that they will need, you know, Binding Blade and Blazing Blade content. I think so many people want to see Hector, you know, and maybe potentially Lyn and Eliwood in the game as well, even though they are more sword units. But there's just so much outcry for some of the older characters that they certainly must know. And considering the fact that we do have information, you know, like I've said previously, that even they themselves, the devs behind the scenes, did argue, and some of them even threatened to quit the project because some of the characters that they wanted to be included were not going to be included. So maybe this is how they're trying to appease a lot of fans, but I do kind of think that this is going to fall on deaf ears a little bit, because of the fact that it's going to have to be paid DLC, so that old school fans who kind of just wanted a little bit more variety in the base game roster, they're going to have to pay up for it, and I don't think that a lot of fans are going to appreciate that. I think that at the end of the day, it's still better than nothing, but I do think that the original roster could have been better. Most of the characters that we have in the game so far are actually early game Fates characters and their companions. So honestly, I think they could have done it a little bit better and maybe left some of the Fates characters as DLC, so if people wanted more Fates characters, that could have been a DLC for them to download. I don't really see why we needed to have, you know, characters like Elise and Sakura and all of that. I mean, maybe they are fan favorites to a degree, but just having every single Fates Royal, I just think, for me personally, is a little bit too much in the game. I would have much preferred to have a couple of those other roster slots attributed to other characters, and especially overall, a more varied cast taking characters from all throughout the series. As for the Shadow Dragon characters, we've got Jagen, Caeda, Merric, Minerva, and Tiki. We already pretty much knew that Tiki would be in the game because we saw her amiibo previously, and we did see that Dragonstones are in fact in the convoy within the game, so that's not too much of a surprise. Minerva's not that much of a surprise either. She's a pretty big character from Shadow Dragon as far as fan reception goes. I could totally see her. She's another flying unit, another axe unit, so while she will be like Camilla, we did already get Hanoka and Cordelia as 2 lance-wielding Pegasus Knights, and it looks like we're going to be getting Caeda as well, or Sheeta for those of you that prefer the Japanese pronunciation. I think pretty much everybody knew that Caeda would be in the game because it's Marth's love interest. It's kind of his secondary character. Even though not too many characters were actually super important within his game, she's one of the more important characters that they could have picked to come along with Marth in this game. I think Jagen is pretty interesting considering we do have some other horse characters already, but this also does make sense to me because we got characters like Frederick, so we do have some of these Jagen or Oifi kind of counterpart characters coming into the game already. So I could give them that for sure. I think Merric makes a lot of sense from Marth's story because he's a pretty big mage character within his game. If not Merric, then it would have been Lind, I think. But I do honestly think it's going to be pretty cool to see his wind magic in action, so that will be awesome. As far as the remainder of the roster, I think we're beginning to be up there in the numbers. I don't think we're going to see many more revealed characters or many more characters hidden within the game's original base roster, if any at all. I do think it's a little bit weird that this leak does not include characters like Azura and Tharia, because I thought for sure that those characters would be shoo-ins. It is still possible that we could see them, and perhaps it's possible that this leak is incorrect because they're not there. But that's just my assumption on the matter. I do think that Azura is kind of a big Fates character, and so far, because we got all of the Fates Royals, I'm a little surprised to not see her in there as well. At least she's an interesting infantry lance unit. That could have been pretty cool, and her dancing style would have been pretty awesome as well. But perhaps that's a lot of work to do to animate, so who knows. I think with a lot of the amiibos that we got, it does make a lot of sense for us to get a Shadows of Valentia DLC pack as well. Like I said earlier on, I do think it'd be a little strange for them to not do a crossover with Shadows of Valentia and kind of cross-promote the 2 games between each other. So I could definitely see Alm and Celica being in the game for sure. Who knows who else they'll pick from that cast. Ike is obviously a pretty huge character. I've seen a lot of people wanting Ike in the game, and if this leak is true, that does seem to be happening as well, which makes a lot of sense. Perhaps we'll see other characters like Titania and Soren, but honestly at this point I would kind of hope that they would stick to some more obscure characters instead of just introducing, you know, the main character and their sort of companions and their original roster that you start off at the beginning of the game with. I think that's the reason why a lot of people were actually disappointed with this game, because instead of seeing the more obscure characters within the wealth of characters in the Fire Emblem universe, we kind of just saw the same repeated main characters and their companions that we see in just about everything else. So honestly, I can understand why someone would be disappointed as far as that goes. But overall, I think if this leak is real, then that's pretty exciting news as far as everything goes. I do think that it's still going to be pretty disappointing that people will have to pay for more variety within the base game by waiting for these DLC packs and getting these DLC packs. I don't have a problem with DLC in general as long as they price it correctly, so hopefully they'll price it tastefully. But I can see a lot of fans still being mad about the fact that they won't be getting more variety right off the bat. So that's the leak in a nutshell. Don't take it completely seriously because we don't know for sure just yet if this is actually going to be true. It will be proven or disproven relatively quickly because of the upcoming Nintendo Direct that's going to be out really soon, so we will be able to see its authenticity pretty soon. However, I'd love to know what you think about this leak in the comment section down below. Just in case this video does end up becoming invalidated due to the leaks being incorrect, I will also include some brand new information that we have found out pretty recently, so at least we can talk about that. We now know that there's going to be split-screen co-op alongside new characters Male Corrin, Sakura, and Elise, although Male Corrin seems to be just a reskin of Female Corrin, like Female Robin is to Male Robin, and like Female Robin, he won't be appearing in the main story. Skills will also be returning, as well as badges and emblems, which will serve as skill trees for characters to unlock extra attacks and other enhancements. There's also going to be a history mode, which will let you move around on a 2D map based on events from the original Fire Emblem titles. Forging is also going to be present in this game, and it's going to allow us to enhance weapons and also transfer specific properties between weapons. Class changing is going to be in the game, but unfortunately it does not seem like Rowan will be wielding a lance as he was rumored to after all. It seems like he's sticking with a sword. But class changing does open up some interesting possibilities, and perhaps this is why they chose to have an even more restricted class. If they did have to do character reskins or redesigns for all of their upgrades, that would also make sense as to why they had to limit the roster. So for that, I will give them credit. Hopefully this class changing will end up being really cool, like it is in the original games. And that's going to wrap up today's episode, guys. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, do me a solid and slash the thumbs up down below. Comment Warriors in the comment section if you're excited. And also get subscribed if you haven't yet, to make sure you don't miss a video. Also, a huge shout out to our patrons for making videos like this possible. Please consider supporting us if you enjoy the quality of the content that we strive to deliver, and you'll also get some other cool stuff along with your support, so check it out. And if you'd like some further discussion and you're a fan of using Discord, check out our brand new Discord server in the description below as well. It's new, so it's pretty quiet right now, but I'd love to engage with you guys over there, and I'll be checking it pretty often too. You can also follow us on Twitter at Lucky Crit Gaming for any news and updates that are revealed on the fly. And I'll see you all next time.